So this is a process of me creating something that's already done or past done. It's an old painting that I've done, and then I'm ready to move on and work on it some more. So I'm trying to preserve the old painting because I like some of them, and I don't like them as a whole. I think it's a little bit too busy. But yeah, so basically I try to balance between feeling precious about my old marks and at the same time ready to let go. So it is tricky sometimes, but I try not to overthinking that. I try not to too precious about some of these. So I just start drawing on top of it using markers, and that's kind of part of the sketching, like sketching mechanism for me, trying to put some mark here and there and see how it goes, and then adding some paint on top of it. Again, in the beginning I thought I'm gonna put some green paint, but then once I put some pink to it, I thought, oh, I maybe should be more pink. So this is the interesting thing that or both scary and fun. I think it's just to go for it, and I kind of like that spray paint from the past in the middle there, so I try to preserve that. But I think slowly I kind of like, okay, maybe I can move on. So it's a balance. It's a balancing act, I think. Now I'm using more of a smaller brush to make smaller marks. I think that's my kind of like my newer direction, making smaller brush strokes. It's forcing me to slow down basically, instead of wet on wet, like big brush strokes. So this is for slower pace. So basically I'm just continuously building the layers. Just look at them and see, okay, which color that I should add to it. I think early on I decided that I want to do darker area on that bottom right corner or middle. So I start building on that and see how that looks as an overall composition. Now I'm using white or a bucket of white to simplify the top area, because I think I want to make the bottom area more busy. So I want to simplify those. Did you catch that? I try to still preserve the spray paint, but slowly I cover it up with one stroke. So it is part of the journey of trying to figure out which part I want to preserve. But instead of covering up the whole thing at once, it is like a sketching, bit by bit, carving out the things that I can renew, kind of complementing. How can the spray paint complement the new marks? I hope that makes sense. So yeah, so it is a slow-moving process, I think, working with an old piece and try to incorporate that into the new piece. Now at this point I need to move it to the floor because I want some splatter on it, and also to stop the drips. I have some drips when I put it on the wall, which I like, but if I leave it too long, the drips will be too long. So I move it to the floor, flatten it, to stop the drip, and also adding splatter. So yeah, so I like to incorporate still, the drips from the past series, and then put in the new series, and still part of the language. So, and then I continue building the layers. This one is adding tone on tone, which is white, kind of creamy white on white, to add more textures or more noise into this simple area, so it's not too flat. So this one is a brighter white on top of it. You might ask, how do I know where to put my marks or the color to choose? The short answer is I don't. I don't exactly know. I think I have a hunch what to put on certain area or what color to choose, and I think that's based on intuition and also practice. I think practicing composition in color contrast, form making. Those are little exercises that we all do, will add up into when we put them all in a piece. Slowly, the intuition is there. I'm not saying I'm always right or know where to put it. Again, I don't know. The only thing I can do is try slowly, put things here and there, and react to it. So this is the final piece. Well, not final for now. I think when I look at it again the next day, I might change things, definitely. Either make the darker area larger, or clean up some of the drips, or adding more splatter, yeah, I think it will just continue. So hopefully this is helpful for you to, as an example of what to do with the old piece that you want to move on to. So instead of covering the whole thing, try nibble a little bit here and there and figure out if that's the right moves. You can always, adding more layer or scrapes, a different kind of moves. So yeah, hopefully this is useful and get some ideas for your own experiment. Okay, thanks.